Rồi chúng ta tiếp tục với cái về cơ có ở đây chúng ta sẽ thực 3 lần như trên cái dòng này. Ok, cũng vui ha. Mình sẽ làm tiếp. Ok, tiếp tục cầm lên nhiều lắm, tạo full luôn đĩa rồi, full luôn ở đĩa này, đĩa vô cùng nhiều, hết hết cái con hết cái con hết đi. Tàu với cây lên hết.
Now, managing Kali Linux services. As you can see, Kali Linux is a specialized Linux distribution aimed at security professionals, and it contains several non-standard features. Okay, now the first thing, let's start with the SSH service, or the secure shell. Now, it is most commonly used to remote access computer using a secure encrypted protocol. Okay, now in that case, we will use command called systemctl. Okay, now as we learned previously, man systemctl, as you can see, control the systemd system and service manager. Okay, so this
Chung là mình thực hành chúng ta là thực hành cho nó giỏi cho nó đạt nhất rồi system C rồi
is to control the systemd. Now you can read more about it. The systemd is something came for process management and all of that stuff. No worry, this is not our subject currently. Now systemctl, by the way, I can press tab again, systemctl, then start or stop or restart, as you can see, the status or status. Okay, so let's start with the status SSH. Okay, now you can see that it shows us
Starter. Hello.
that, yeah, here if you can see it is inactive. Now to show more information, I must provide the sudo. Now instead of typing the same command or the up arrow button, no, I can do sudo shift1 or the exclamation mark. So this will provide the previous command, which is system status SSH, and before it, it is sudo. So sudo systemctl status SSH. So if I press enter, you can see that, yeah, it shows us this is the command. And now press again enter, and of course it will need the password because this is a sudo command, and yeah, it showed us. Now yeah, it shows us it is inactive. Now if I type the same command, okay, systemctl, not without sudo, I mean, let's start the SSH. You can see that if I press that, it will ask us for authentication or the password for this to be done. So in that case, which is using the sudo, so sudo systemctl start SSH, here you can see that, yeah, now it is worked. How to check that? Systemctl status SSH, yeah, you can see that here it is active, and 7 seconds ago. Now you can see by default here we have the vendor persist, okay, and we have the disabled thing here. Okay, now this means that disabled here, the vendor, which means that by default when it comes or when it is downloaded by default, it will be disabled. Now what does disabled mean? It means that it will not work or it will not run on the startup, on the boot up. Okay, so if I restart this Kali Linux machine, this SSH will not work by default. Okay, now here disabled, this is the first disabled. Okay, this is the vendor preset. Here the disabled, which means not the default behavior, the actual behavior, which is will it run on boot up or it will not. This is what is. So by default it is disabled, and it is disabled, so I must enable it. So when I restart Kali Linux, the SSH will run on boot up. So enable like that and press enter. You can see that, yeah, it is enabled. It will start creating sim links. In Windows it is the shortcut, which means shortcut. Don't worry, we will talk about the symbolic links and hard links, soft links, all of that stuff. Now if I type status this time, you can see that this time it is enabled. By the way, the vendor preset, this is still disabled, and this cannot be changed, by the way, because this is how it comes from the factory, just like that. Okay, so the guys who created this SSH tool, by default they say make it disabled for more security and stuff like that. All right, but we enable it because we want it to be run over and over anyway. Now again, this is not for a blue team, this is for red team. Okay, so to be honest, we don't care. Yeah, because this is not the system we are protecting or hardening. This is our system to have attack on the systems. Okay, so this Kali Linux to attack systems, of course, not in a malicious way. I mean, in a red team tactics. Okay, but we need to understand how the bad guys think and work. Okay, now how to make sure the SSH is enabled. Now you know that the SSH by default is using the port 22. Okay, the default port. So I have netstat -ntlp. Okay, this is to show us n, which means number, t, which means TCP, because this is a TCP protocol. Now again, if you are not familiar with TCP, UDP, the OSI model, the ports number, I recommend you to read more about it. Okay, well, it is not a big deal. Just have a just high level understanding will do the job. Okay, now L, which means that the status of this is listening, and P, so to protocol or program, show the program, so, or PID. So you can see that, yeah, we have it here. So here it is 22, and it is listening on 0.0.0.0, which means anywhere, and the foreign address is the same. The status is, or the state is listening, and there is no PID or whatever. Okay, now there is another command called ss, again -ntlp, and here it will show us that, yeah, 22 is running, and it is running on anywhere.
Yeah.
0.0.0.0. Okay, now this is for the SSH service. Now let's talk about HTTP service. Now by default, Kali comes with Apache or Apache 2. So I will use the same command, sudo systemctl status Apache, and the Apache is 2. So you can see, yeah, it is inactive. Now how to do such a thing, how to enable it and to start it, as we learned previously. First, we need to put start like this, then enable, okay, like this. Now there is a shortcut for this actually, which is sudo systemctl enable, yeah, as we learned, but put the flag --now, which means it will enable it on startup, and the same time it will start it. So you can see that, yeah, it has been enabled, and it should be started. How to check that? Yes, you are correct. We will use the status command. So here it is. It is active and running this time. Okay. Now, by the way, if you didn't provide the sudo, it will not show all the information. It's all everything here, as you can see. Now, if I information, as you can see, so up here, it shows us this groups. You can see that it will show less information, as you can see. So up here, it shows us this group, C group thing, and it shows us this, as you can see. The Apache HTTP, whatever. But here, it shows us the C group without putting more information. Or some consider it a critical information. Yeah, actually, sometimes it is a critical. Okay. Now, how to see what port it is running on? By default, it is the 80. So, again, let's run ss-ntlp. And you can see that, yeah, it is running on port 80. So this is what we need and what we want. All right. Okay. So far, so good. Thanks for watching. Now I will provide more exercises on this kindly to solve them. And if you have any question, let me know.